tell the Rebbe the words of the new song that we're singing with Mashiach, right? So I'm just going to read him. Am Yisrael, have no fear. Mashiach will be here this year. We want Mashiach now. We don't want to wait. Okay? We want Mashiach now. We want Mashiach now.
And there's so much deception going on in the world. It's so crazy out there right now, even in so-called truth communities where you'd think you'd be safe, right? Even in different religious communities where you'd think people are going to be good people and trying to tell the truth. I mean, there's deception everywhere. It's all over the place. So these are crazy times, and these are times where we need to use our critical thinking, our logic, our reason, our spiritual discernment in all things.
Hey guys, Electron 101, and here is the video of, this is the 27th here, I do believe. I'm almost positive this is the 27th. This is at the Wailing Wall. This is that Josiah ben David that they're claiming is Israel's new Messiah. This is really crazy. You can see here they're like pushing on this guy like he is somebody super duper important. Look at this. And they're like crowding him. People are going crazy around this guy. And this is only in Spanish. I have not found this at all in English. This is all in Spanish. This is at the Wailing Wall here. There he is at the Wailing Wall. He's here praying. Everyone's surrounding him. They're saying that this is Josiah ben David, their Messiah. This is at the Wailing Wall. This is unheard of. This is what people that know anything about Israel was going on. And this guy right here. This guy right here. Hang on a second. Why isn't this stopping? It's a pain here. Here we go. Hang on. Let me see here. Sorry about that. This guy right here is a head rabbi right here. For him to be here, this guy's 30 years old. For this rabbi to be here to say that this is okay is unheard of. This is wild. At the Wailing Wall with all of these students, all these people here, and this rabbi and these other rabbis in here, they represent hundreds of thousands of people. In some cases, millions of people. And their organizations are massive, and they produce literally millions of students through the years. And for this head rabbi right here to let this guy pray at this very special place, this is where the rabbi comes in, and this is where they preach, they talk, they do all their stuff, is right here at this desk at the Wailing Wall, right here. For that rabbi to be doing that, sitting there, letting this guy do this is really it's unbelievable. And look at all the people lined up to try to get in here. I know there's a lot of critics saying that this guy is, not the guy, all this kind of stuff. But this guy, this is the 27th. This is Passover.
Hey guys, it's KJ here from the Scariest Movie Ever channel on YouTube, and we've got quite the mystery here on our hands today. Who is the mysterious figure on the new Israeli 100 shekel bill? And I'm not talking about the man right there in the lower right-hand corner. There's a hidden image on here that's, well, it's hidden somewhat, and it's not that easy to see until you blow it up a little bit. The reason I wanted to make a video on this is because I've covered a subject very similar to this in the past, and, well, this is going to be something to think about. So here's the image, and it's been blown up, and again, this is from Dabu7's video, so thanks again to Dabu for bringing this out. But you can see right there over to the left that this is clearly the image of a person, and this has been encoded on the new 100 shekel bill. Obviously it's a little bit blurry and there's not a lot of fantastic definition, but I believe there's enough there that shows us this is obviously, it looks like a man with a beard. Well, it might help if we do just a little bit more of an investigation here and check out a few more things. So there's obvious pyramid symbolism all over these bills. I mean, you can see there's one here, they got them up here, they even got one right down here. So we shouldn't really be surprised by the pyramid symbolism. We know a lot of times this is connected with the so-called Illuminati, or with the Zionist Jews, or the Kabbalist Jews. The Bible calls them the synagogue of Satan. These aren't the real Jews. These are the ones that are currently in control of that state. This right here is a sky view of the Supreme Court building. It's located in Jerusalem, and it just so happened to be donated to Israel by Dorothy Rothschild, who was the wife of James Armand Rothschild from the French banking dynasty. So I'd actually covered this in another video. There's tons of Freemasonic, Luciferian symbolism all throughout this building. There's even 33 steps inside.
Throughout the years, I've been covering the subject of symbolism and the so-called Illuminati and all this. I've covered this for a really long time. I thought it was weird, man. And all the time I've covered it, this one somehow just kind of got past me a little bit. I've covered some things about Israel and the Illuminati, but never really went that deep into it. I've got a lot of pieces of the puzzle I've collected over the years, but this right here really set it in stone for me. So I wanted to do a video and just kind of cover a few things about this. It's important to understand that the same families who own and control the Federal Reserve and other major financial institutions have their eyes set on the Temple Mount and the holy city of Jerusalem. Just as the scriptures say, there's a man who will be revealed as the Antichrist, and he will sit there before the appearance of the Jewish Messiah, and many will receive him as their Messiah. And speaking of that, I've actually covered Dig, the TV series, and a few other videos, but that right there was the whole idea behind this TV series, Dig. It was about establishing the Jewish Messiah. It was about these rituals they were doing at the Temple Mount to usher this in.
The body was found this morning by two Arab teenagers.
An American citizen has been killed on foreign soil. It's my job to find out what happened.
Bury something in the ground that means that much to that many people, someone's gonna want to find it.
The last rites. It was some kind of sacrifice.
You already screwed up one case. I'm not gonna let you jeopardize another.
What the hell are you doing here?
My job.
He's my suspect. Stop!
What are you not telling me?
He's not ready.
It's time.
We are small men. In the end, we mean nothing.
3,000 years of history waiting to be discovered. If you believe in that sort of thing.
They were performing these rituals at the temple that would essentially be Armageddon, the end of the world, and that would offer them the chance to bring in this Jewish Messiah. Even in the TV show, it was all about blood sacrifice. They were going to sacrifice this red heifer. As I said, I've covered that as well in some other videos. It's interesting to note, God wouldn't send men to that place anymore to perform blood sacrifices. His son's blood was the perfect sacrifice, so there's no need for us to shed the blood of dumb animals any longer. Yeshua did a perfect work, and remember, it was finished. What's kind of creepy and freaky about this is I do believe that the Antichrist, whenever it arrives on the national scene, it'll be accepted by most Christians as the Savior who can bring peace and safety, peace and order to the world. So ultimately, Jesus, Yeshua, will enter into that place, the holy mountain of God, and cleanse it. But before that happens, all hell is going to break loose in Jerusalem and the world. So with all that said, I want to explore a little bit more of this symbolism here at the Supreme Court. We'll even go inside some, and I just want to show you a few things. So this is a very, very touchy subject, and before I get into it, I just want to address a few things. It's not all the Jews, all right? I get this message on so many of my videos. It's like, why don't you ever talk about the Jews? It's the Jews, Because what a lot of people don't understand is that all religions are controlled by the devil. All religions are of the beast system. Islam has the cube. Many of us know about the cube and understand the symbolism there. The cube going back to Saturn or Saturnalia, or ultimately back to Satan. So a lot of layers to that particular onion right there. But once again, this is a religion that is controlled by the beast, ultimately. Even in America, if you look at most churches, because there's so many different denominations, right? All these different interpretations of God's word and what God's all about. Got all these buildings. But if you look at these buildings, and this is a typical example of most churches in America, if you look at these buildings, if you look right there in the lower left right there, they always have the pyramid with the sun in the middle, the sun symbol. This is why those lines are coming out. It's the illumination. Now, I'm not saying it's a bunch of Illuminati guys in black hoods, built these churches or whatever. This goes back to the connection with Freemasonry and religion. And that's all fine and good, and I wouldn't really have a personal issue with it if it wasn't for the fact that Freemasons take oaths of secrecy. So basically, whatever's happening in the church, or they're saying in the church, or saying in public, could be very different from what they're doing and saying and working on in private. But on the higher level of the pyramid, the higher level of the Freemason structure, it's definitely much darker up there. So these are examples of, once again, what I call that beast system. Remember, it is the enemy that is in control of all of these religions. We don't need religion. This is where it gets tricky. Now, that's not to say that the people that go to church or the people that go to synagogue or go to mosques or whatever are all evil and bad people either. These are the sheep. I was one. I was raised in a church in the Midwest myself, and I'm glad I was. It gave me a really good understanding of the basics and the fundamentals of religion and whatnot, but it wasn't until I personally left the church and started researching for myself that I really started to connect with the very real spiritual battle that's taking place in our world all around us, and the insane grip that this beast system has on all of religion and on people's hearts and minds.
Were I a Jew, I would be a Zionist. And my father pointed out to me, I did not need to be a Jew to be a Zionist, for I am. Israel is essential to the security of Jews worldwide.
Therefore, I have determined that it is time to officially recognize Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. Israel is a sovereign nation with the right, like every other sovereign nation, to determine its own capital. It was 70 years ago that the United States under President Truman recognized the state of Israel. Ever since then, Israel has made its capital in the city of Jerusalem, the capital the Jewish people established in ancient times. I am also directing the State Department to begin preparation to move the American Embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. The United States remains deeply committed to helping facilitate a peace agreement that is acceptable to both sides.
And the Sanhedrin has minted this coin of Donald Trump. Here you can see Donald Trump on this coin. To his left is the ancient King Cyrus. King Cyrus assisted the Jews in building a third temple. To the left of Cyrus is a seal with a lion on it. And we're clearly showing you Donald Trump is this lion with two wings of an eagle. Okay? So there's the lion, and below it is the Cyrus scroll. And then over to the right, we have the seal of the United States with two wings of an eagle. So Donald Trump is clearly this lion with two wings of an eagle. But the Sanhedrin, the judges in Israel, okay, they're expecting him to build a third temple, because you can see right at the bottom, he charged them right here to build a house in Jerusalem. So the Sanhedrin and the Jews, some of the rabbis, fully expect Donald Trump to build a third temple. That's why we saw the temple in the promotional video. Okay? And if you don't know this coin, this is stuff that's going on. It's a Bible prophecy being fulfilled. This is a temple. You can see this is the temple coin they minted for Donald Trump in the expectation they will build a third temple in Jerusalem. 2 weeks after Donald Trump announced moving the U.S. Embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem, on Hanukkah, what you're looking at is a Hanukkah. Hanukkah has 9 candlesticks or 9 lamps, okay? But the Jews dedicated this underground synagogue. Okay, now this is dedicated on the Jewish calendar, Hanukkah, which was December 19th. So you might say, well, Leland, they didn't build the third temple. Actually, yes, they did. You missed it. And here it is. Most of you that are familiar with this channel, you're familiar with this synagogue here. If you're not, we will have links in the description field to describe what we're looking at. Something called the Chamber of Hewn Stone, which is clearly part of the third temple. Okay, there's the Hanukkah to the right, and there is the globe pomegranate, okay, visible from down below, looking up. Here is a view from one end of the synagogue that has 70 seats. In the back, it has 24 seats. This is called the Chamber of Hewn Stone. It is part of the third temple, and it was dedicated on Hanukkah. There we can see the Hanukkah. It was dedicated on Hanukkah 2017. Okay, 2 weeks after Donald Trump announced moving the U.S. Embassy to Jerusalem as part of the Cyrus decree. Okay, and so again, you can see this. We have visited this a few times. And again, as we zoom in, there is the Hanukkah. And that is basically them saying, watch for Hanukkah. Okay, this was dedicated on Hanukkah. It's part of the Cyrus decree, it's part of the third temple. And then it's very important for us to watch what happens the next year on Hanukkah. That's what that Hanukkah is telling us. It's telling us Hanukkah is on dedication, major things will happen. That's right, we were on site in Jerusalem at the altar dedication. Here you see the altar, here you see the lamb in the priest's hand, the fire is lit, and they're throwing the lamb onto the fire. So this is the altar dedication for the third temple that took place during Hanukkah. I believe it was December 10th. There he's putting on the fire. 2018. So 2017, the Chamber of Hewn Stone. 2018, the altar for the third temple is dedicated. And there you see the lamb that was sacrificed, burning on the coals of the fire as a very, very ominous sign of the sacrifices spoken of in Daniel chapter 9.
But when he tells them to dig into the wall, now they're at the temple now, and this is God giving Ezekiel these visions, and he tells them to behold the wicked abominations that they do, the idols of the house of Israel, the 70 men of the ancients of the house of Israel. And he repeats these things over and over. See what they do, the ancients of the house of Israel, in the dark. Every man, he seeth us not, right? So there's your Isaiah 29:15. So again, I'm led right back to the synagogue. And this time, I was led to count all the chairs and to study how this is laid out. And this is what I'm going to share with you in this particular video. If you look in this synagogue and count all the chairs, both in the audience section and in the inner circle here, this little semicircle, you have 111 seats in total. And once I got that figure, it was obvious to me, and I was literally just led right to where I had seen these things before. And this is all related to the Kabbalah. Okay? You have your Kabbalah tree, your 10-10-10, and your 1-1-1, and the knowledge of learning and gaining throughout your life, essentially. Kabbalah is very, very ancient and very, very Jewish, and you can learn all about it. They're eager to teach you about it. Again, I'll leave all these links. What is Kabbalah? It is the soul of Judaism. This is what they say, and I'll leave links for everything. But the Kabbalah also has other uses, and you know, the ones who attend the synagogue, essentially they're probably 98% well-meaning, God-loving. They sincerely seek the Lord God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, but they're being deceived. Okay? And that little tiny percentage, they're the ones that are doing the deceiving, and they're the ones that are working for Satan. And hardly any of them even know it. But some of them do. And they work off of the Kabbalah tree. Now, there are many versions. The tarot emanates from the Kabbalah tree. Okay? You need to look into this stuff if you're so inclined. The two pillars, Jachin and Boaz, outside of the temple, which I believe is what was being referred to in Ezekiel as the abominations at the gate of the altar. I just don't see how God could approve of them. And he tells Ezekiel to go into and see the abominations that they do. And just for this video, because I just can't contain and show all of it to you, but the 111 should just tell you that they're totally Kabbalists. And the way that these chairs are situated is very, very telling. Because if you look on the inner section here, there are 2 rows of 4 chairs at the very, very center of the synagogue here. Right up towards the front, which is right here. You see these 2 rows of 4 chairs? Those, plus the idol, because that's what I'm calling it. I'm calling that an abomination. They've gone in here more or less in secret, doing it right in front of us though, because that's what they do. And they've created an abomination almost directly below where the holies of holies, the literal presence of God would be. And there's 8 chairs, and the 9. That's what's known as the Council of 9. And if you don't believe that that's true, I just don't know what to tell you. But, I mean, simple wiki, if you do any digging into this, you'll find the real nitty-gritty details, but the Council of 9 is very real. It was to punish mankind, Zeus, and 8 other deities gathered to form the Council of 9. It's all here.
I don't want anybody thinking this is anti-Semitic. Now, that's a big issue. This is what this Illuminati, if you will, these people at the top of the pyramid, have been hiding behind for decades now. Like, if you ever go against Israel or say anything against Israel, it's like automatically you're an anti-Semite. You know, you hate the Jews. That's all a psyop. It's social engineering. It's just a way to shut you down and keep your mouth shut. So, once again, understand, I'm coming from a place of love. I see us all as brothers and sisters in Christ, whether people believe in that or not. That's how I see the world. The Supreme Court building sits on a plot of land next to the Foreign Ministry and the Central Bank of Israel. You know, it's important to note there's a lot of ley lines at play here as well. I'm not going to cover that so much here in this video. There's people out there that do really good work with that. There's a lot of things happening with the ley lines all around the Supreme Court as well. But that being said, it's important to understand that everything about this building has been thought out to the very finest detail. And I see it as absolutely diabolical. This is the devil's plan being put into place before we ever even realize it. The devil, knows its final battle will be here in Jerusalem. Now, if you're not familiar with the Rothschild family, please do a little research there. People always ask, who's the Illuminati? What do they look like? This is one of them. The Rothschild family is one of the Illuminati bloodline families. So it's interesting to note that the engineers who were chosen for this job by the Rothschilds were the grandson and granddaughter of a man who actually worked for Baron Rothschild. You also find their love of numerology all throughout this building and in the building process. It was important to the builder to have everything done according to the correct numbers. It's really interesting because all around the building you'll find these different pathways that you can walk through, and here's one right here. The larger circle you see at the bottom of the picture is actually an inverted cross, and this whole thing was designed for people to walk on. So this is actually a religious emblem placed there designed for people to trample on under their feet. So keeping in mind that we're approaching a one-world religion, okay, this is what's coming. This will be the beast system fully revealed, the Antichrist system. So this is why we find all the world religions represented in one way or another. For instance, right here, just beyond that Egyptian obelisk, lies a Muslim gravesite. Another thing you'll find all throughout the building and even out in the courtyard are multiple Hindu altars. And just in case there's still any doubt that the Rothschilds are actually behind this, this is one of the placards you find on the wall. The founder of the Rothschild dynasty and his 5 sons established all the central banks throughout Europe. The Rothschilds made several stipulations with the Israeli government before building the Supreme Court. And among them were that the Rothschilds would pick the plot of land to build the Supreme Court, they would use their own architects, and no one would ever know how much the building actually cost. It took them 4 years to build this structure with many secrets built into it. As I said, every element of this building was built according to occult knowledge. This right here is a great example. You find it right here that when you first enter the building, you actually find yourself on the journey. This entire journey is intended to bring one from darkness into the light and become an illuminated one. As you see here, when you very first enter the building, it starts off with dim lighting, but as you look up the stairs, you see the bright light that comes from a very large window that looks over parts of Jerusalem. It's also very important to note these steps here. There are 3 sets of 10 steps, making a total of 30. Now, as you ascend these 30 steps, you come from the darkness into the light. And from here you can see the world, or in this case the city of Jerusalem, like you've never seen it before. It's also worth mentioning that right here on the right side you'll see the old Jerusalem stone. Some even believe these same stones were used in the Second Temple. And on the other side you'll see the smooth modern wall. There are 6 lampstands going up that speaks to the man on his journey to gain his knowledge and become illuminated. But once again, I think it's very important to note that the ones who built this building built it to be, in their eyes, perfect and in their order of things, even numerically. And even right here, this is where we start getting a little bit deeper, but when you leave the center courtroom or the main courtroom, the base of the stairs you walk down, as you descend, you'll find the fertility symbol right there in the very center, which is always present in any of these so-called Illuminati structures. It's often kind of hidden, but it's always there. The symbol there in the center represents the woman, and then the, of course, staff or whatever you'd like to call that, going through the center is the penetration. So once again, folks, this is just another example of that beast system being our reality.
And there's something else I noticed on the new 100 shekel bill. So if you take a look right here, you see this? When you first lay your eyes on this area right here, what is it you see? When I first saw it, I saw a 111. And when you look closer, it turns out that those are 3 white pillars, and those are supposed to be, I guess, the shadows behind those pillars. So to me, there's the potential of this being an image within an image. Because when I looked at it further and I started connecting the dots on the symbolism all around this, I also saw this. Could it be a 111, or could it actually be a va 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 right here? Now, I know many of you have seen this, a lot of us have covered this, it's been around for a long time. It's the 666. It's another representation of the 666, the va va va. So then it became more interesting to me again, just kind of questioning things, but could it be that this right here is a representation of the va va va, the 666? We also have the pyramids all over, and then we have the hidden image right down there. Because if you didn't already know, the Illuminati, or the controllers, the shadow controllers of this beast system, they love to put their mysteries onto money. I've said this in the past, I'll say it again. They took paper, they wrote their plans on it, coded their plans on it, and they called it money.
He's come out of nowhere and we don't know who he is.
What do we know about him?
He's leading desperate people.
So this is a cult?
We don't know who he's associated with. He could be creating an army. Or he could be leading them to their death.
What are you doing in Syria?
Delivering a message.
A message for whom?
My father.
And who is your father?
Who's lost it?
What do you mean?
He just disappears.
No one just disappears.
We all witnessed a miracle.
He saved my daughter's life.
You need to see this.
Bury it for as long as you can. He didn't just click his heels and end up here. He clearly had help.
You get around Syria, Israel, Texas.
It's the nature of my work.
And what is that work?
God's work.
Who do you think he is?
You didn't see what I saw.
And if I did, would I be calling him the second coming?
How far will this new movement spread?
I'm going to find out everything about you.
This is bigger than what you can imagine.
The Abraham Accord coin. I just wanted to bring this to you in brief to show you this and all the coins that there are currently in the Temple Coins website. I'm sure most of you are aware of that Cyrus and Trump coin, but they have since pulled away the Nikki Haley coin. I could not find it in there anymore, so very interesting. But we have the BB coin with Trump there, of course. We have the half shekel showing King David. And these are in many various colors, by the way, so I'm showing you a few different ones, but in different colors so you can see. We have the Cyrus one, 70 years, Israel. Nazi hunters we have. Interesting. Catching Adolf Eichmann, Mossad coin. The Operation Entebbe, hostage rescue mission, and besting Idi Amin, Mossad coin. They keep coming up with new ones, and of course this is the newest Abraham Accord coin, showing, and if one inclines towards peace, it inclines towards you. And it has many things on here, and I'll quickly read some of the things that they have listed here. The Israeli and UAE flags flying over an intricate silhouette of the holy city of Jerusalem, Israel's eternal capital, and Abu Dhabi skylines. Then next to that it says immediately below the skyline are the words Abraham Accord inscribed in Arabic, Hebrew, and English. Inspired by the words of the prophetic Isaiah, the back of the medal features the sword that gradually morphs and symbols of peace, prosperity, agriculture, and technology advancement. The commemorative coin also features quotes from the Quran and the prophet Jeremiah, encapsulating moral duty to seek out and embrace peace. So what do the Christians have to say about this coin, since they have been so eagerly helping the Israeli, just like Lance Wallnau, who has sold several coins? An eagle holding an olive branch and arrows, the seal of the President of the United States, completes the front design. Abraham, the familiar Bible character, is referred to as an Abraham in the Christian faith, Ibrahim in the Muslim faith, and Avraham of the Jewish faith. Israel and Emirati companies signed the agreement to work together for a cure for COVID-19, as well as cooperation in the fields of infrastructure, science, agriculture, and energy. The signature of Donald J. Trump, the president has been nominated for the Nobel Prize. Wow. Unbelievable. There's a little bit of exactly what was said there, and they keep referring to the three great faiths. For I'll give you lasting peace in this place. With Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, we cannot coexist with those. Yes, we should love our neighbors as ourselves, but there still is only one way to heaven, and that is through Jesus Christ.
Lucifer, what is your problem?
Just that, sir.
Okay.
I'm a Christian, sir.
I'm pure and virtuous and wholesome and innocent. How can you say anything bad about me?
Sir, you need to be born again.
I am born again.
Now, did you just say that you were Lucifer?
I am Lucifer.
Okay, define Lucifer for me.
Pure, virtuous, wholesome, innocent individual that's out to help people.
Lucifer is?
Yeah.
Say that again. Lucifer is a pure, holy...
Virtuous.
Virtuous. Now, is he the Lucifer that God created?
That's the same one.
Oh, man, this is great. I'm going to put this on the internet.
Oh,
Amen.
God bless you,
Amen.
brother.
Because that's exactly what the Shriners and Masons teach, is that Lucifer is light.
No.
And you're,
what
you're
about
confirming
those hospitals?
You know what, sir? Jesus said, many will say to me on that day, Lord, Lord, we did not do these good deeds in your name? And you'll say, away from me, you workers of iniquity. I never knew you.
Jesus said it?
In Matthew chapter 5.
Mercy.
No.
That's hard to believe.
So you're a Christian and you don't know that. Actually.
No, I really am.
You are.
Because I'm pure and virtuous.
You're pure and virtuous, okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. In other words, you're perfect without Jesus, right?
No.
Okay, tell me about Jesus. Who is Jesus?
Well, he's my leader.
Is he the Son of God?
Yes, he is.
Is he the only worshipful master?
Yes.
Have you ever been called worshipful master?
No, because I've just been too busy. I've been working.
Been
working to help people.
What
like
kind of work? Okay.
Get out of here.
See, this is what a Mason confesses, is that Lucifer is light.
Yes, man cub. So nice to see you again.
Oh, go away. Leave me alone.
Let me look at you. You don't want me to look at you? Then you look at me.
No, sir. I know what you're trying to do. Cop?
You do? You don't trust me.
No.
Then there's nothing I can do to help.
You want to help me?
Certainly.
Okay. So let's dedicate this to General Kelly, the Border Patrol, and the ICE agents for doing such an incredible job. Right? This was written by Al Wilson a long time ago. And I thought of it having to do with our borders and people coming in. And we know what we're going to have. We're going to have problems. We have to very, very carefully vet. We have to be smart. We have to be vigilant. So here it is, the snake. It's called the snake. On her way to work one morning, down the path along the lake, a tender-hearted woman saw a poor, half-frozen snake. His pretty-colored skin had been all frosted with the dew. "Poor thing," she cried, "I'll take you in, and I'll take care of you." The border. "Take me in, O tender woman. Take me in, for heaven's sake. Take me in, O tender woman," sighed the vicious snake. She wrapped him up all cozy in a comforter of silk and laid him by her fireside with some honey and some milk. She hurried home from work that night, and as soon as she arrived, she found that pretty snake she'd taken in had been revived. "Take me in, O tender woman. Take me in, for heaven's sake. Take me in, O tender woman," sighed that vicious snake. She clutched him to her bosom. "You're so beautiful," she cried. "But if I hadn't brought you in by now, oh heavens, you would have died." She stroked his pretty skin again and kissed him and held him tight. But instead of saying thank you, that snake gave her a vicious bite. "Take me in, O tender woman. Take me in, for heaven's sake. Take me in, O tender woman," sighed the vicious snake. "I have saved you," cried the woman, "and you've bitten me, heavens, why? You know your bite is poisonous, and now I'm going to die." "Oh, shut up, silly woman," said the reptile with a grin. "You knew damn well I was a snake before you took me in." Does that explain it, folks? Does that explain?
Trust in me.